Hello, this is Tomasz Rodziński for Tats Plus, and welcome back to another part of modeling of Hearn. This time we're going to take care of the skin, so activate skin shader. That we bring before, and now we can see all its properties. So this is specular color, and we got oil layer, epidermis, upper dermis, and lower dermis scattering. So it is very complex shader, and we need a few maps to drive this. As you can see, right straight away, we can have pretty nice effect, and we now need to create different channels to drive this shader. So we can use quick channel palette. As you can see, we can change resolution of this new channel, and we can just press on which color we want. So now change name from quick channel to skin, oil, specular color. Okay. And now we need another layer. And we need to add a quick channel. And we can just change its name to skin, oil, specular amount. Okay, so far so good. And we need to create another channel filled with gray, but this time it should be much bigger because we need to add color. So we need to change this to skin, oil, diffuse color. Okay, sorry, this is the skin, oil, roughness. Okay. And I believe we can change this map. And now we can add another quick channel filled with black, and this is skin, oil, reflection amount. That's because, okay, and we can just drag it below. And we can resize this channel because we don't need this to be very large, and we can change this to 1K bitmap. So now, okay, and we need to create some more channels to drive the rest of the skin. And as you can see, we got all channels ready, so we should export them. So export all flattened, and now Modo will export every channel flattened to our directory. So this is my way of working, because we need to export unpainted channels, so they will be just 8 by 8 pixels each patch, so it will be much easier and much efficient to bring them to Modo this way. So wait for Mari to bake all the shaders. And now it is done. So let's see, we got all channels exported, and they are very small because they are not painted, and as you can see, they are 8 pixels by 8 pixels. So now we can just go back to Modo and let's add groups. So we need each group for each part of the skin, layer of the skin. So I believe we can drag this above and add another group and add another group. Okay. So we need to have oil layer group. This will be oil. Okay. Next step, it will be epidermis. So let's call it epi. Okay. Next will be upper dermal scattering. So it will be upper dermal. Okay. And the last one, it will be lower dermal scattering. So let's call it lower. And now and last we got bump, but we will have only one layer for this. So now, as you can see, we can bring all images together. So select the skin material and add layer, image map, add items. So, and choose diffuse. And we can go for the oil. So skin, let me just see. And this is skin oil. Okay, so now we got just open the list details. This way will be much quicker. So we got skin bump. Okay, so bring this and drag it to the skin group. Okay, and change its effect to bump. Okay, and we got empty layers. So now select skin material and do that for all the bitmaps. As you can see in the shader tree, I did it just like that. So I got bump, I got oil layers, I got epidermal layers, I got upper dermal and lower dermal scattering. As you can see, they are matched with the corresponding layers of this skin shader. So now this is a good way to start working. As you can see, I got subsurface amounts, and let me show you how it looks like in the images panel. So this is one mesh, and inside this is one layer, and inside it Modo has grouped all images for all patches. As you can see, this is a very nice way of importing images from Mari. Okay, and the UDIMs are read automatically by Modo, so you don't have to do anything no more. So okay, now let's paint those maps, and Modo will display them in this great skin shader. Okay, so let's select hand base, go for the display, and tick bounding box. This way, Modo will be much more responsive, because in the GL view, our character will turn to only box, and this way we'll give preview more memory to work on this complex shader and to update faster. Okay, so this is my way of dealing with heavy geometry. So let's be good on Modo, and now we can just go back to Mari and paint all those maps. So first of all, change selection mode to patch mode, and epidermal subsurface, go for the upper dermal subsurface color, choose red and dark red, okay, press OK, and go for the patches, fill, and fill with foreground. And now we got red color for this upper dermal subsurface color. And we can go for the lower dermal subsurface color, and again select all patches, change color to lighter red, press OK, and go for the patches, fill, and fill with foreground color. And then you can have this, and we can export this, export flattened to Modo. Okay, I always remove alpha channels because this way file sizes are much lower. Okay, and Mari baked, and we can export also this upper dermal subsurface color channel, and remove and export all patches, and Modo will read this and apply it to the skin shader. And now hide antlers of our character. We don't need that anymore. Go for the palettes and objects, as you can see, and just expand this and hide earring, freezed, and cloth. We don't need that anymore. We can just hide this palette. And now we are ready to paint our channel. And we are on epidermal subsurface maximum depth, and you can see we can add layer called white, and we can just start painting. So change view to front side, and now you can just paint with a black color. So in this part of her head, maximum depth will be lower. Okay, so the sun and light doesn't penetrate the skin and doesn't reveal this epidermal color. So now this should be the blackest area, because the skin in this area is thickest because it's on the skull. Okay, and now change projection to through, so you can paint everything at once. Turn off edge mask by pressing G and paint a little bit more. Okay, and press B to bake it. Okay, now let's do some more here, and press B. Now it is baked. So we can turn on mask and turn projection to front, and as you can see, we got masked areas of the head, and these areas would have thinner skin, so this epidermal subsurface maximum depth should be lower in this part. So also here. Okay, so now on the muscles of the chin also, As you can see, I got my paint buffer edge, so I need to zoom out a little bit. And as you can see, I'm painting the paint buffer, and I can transform it. So I can just press Alt and Shift to rotate this, and I can just drag and rotate this like this paint buffer. I can place it anywhere that I like, and I can just press B to bake it. Okay, but I got some nasty edge over there, so I can just resize it just so, and clear this, and I can paint a little bit more. Okay, and let me see, this should be painted with black, and press B to bake it. Okay, so now turn on shading, and I believe we can paint also here. Just change brush size by pressing R and dragging the viewport, and just paint areas that should have thick skin. And press B to bake it. You can always see only the layer that you are painting on, so it will show you transparency as well. And if you want to have better control, that you can see now that you're painting only single strokes and where the paint is. For real, as you can see now, you can see all channels corresponding, all layers corresponding to this channel that you are painting on. And now we can paint on the back. So just a few strokes over here. Alright, and press B to bake it. And because I don't see very well the surface of the model, I should change view type to shaded. So now press B to bake it, and do it one more time for second side. And now activate symmetry and paint with a white color on the bones. So this way epidermal surface maximum depth will be higher in these areas, and therefore you can see the subsurface color rather than epidermal surface color. So now paint these areas with white. Okay, so few gentle strokes, and now remember, this symmetry works only on the paint buffer. So let's just paint a little bit more. Okay, in these areas skin will be thinner. Okay, and press B to bake it. Okay, and where the paint is white, it will show it will penetrate, light will penetrate skin even more. Okay, so now let's paint like this. Okay, bake this down and go for the view, palettes, channels, and export this channel flattened. Okay, export all patches. Mario warned us about files, and back in Modo we can see that we're starting to have a little bit different, but we need to have colors on other layers to be able to see what we have painted so far. So we need to paint some epidermal diffuse color, because it will contribute mostly to the color of the skin. So now let's start by turning off symmetry for paint and select all patches. Okay, and now select base color of the skin. So I believe it should be something like this, but we can, I have created color before, and I just double click on this and go for the fill and fill with foreground color. Alright, and export this channel flattened and press OK. And we can now go for the epidermal subsurface color, select this and fill with foreground also, and with this beige color. So now right click and export this channel flattened. Okay, as you can see, alright, it's exporting. Okay, and epidermal subsurface maximum depth, it can be exported as well. And now when Modo updates, as you can see, now the color of the skin is changing. So Modo will try to dictate where the different part of the shading occurred. So now, as you can see, I'm turning off all the layers, and Modo is calculating all those different subsurface coloring of the skin based upon our maps. So now we are one step closer to getting nice character. So now we can paint lips with red, okay, and see how this painting is revealed in Modo. So now go to the layers and we can change it to red. Okay, and let's paint the lip. As you can see, it will be a little bit easier for us to start painting in UV viewport. Okay, and when we will bake this paint, it will start to show in the 3D viewport. As you can see, now we are painting in inside of the mouth. So, alright, we can just paint over there. And now press B to bake it. And go for the lip area of our character. And we can just paint. And I believe we should paint even more to get outside of its mouth, and press B to bake it. And I believe we can just paint again, and we just slowly getting out of his mouth. Just press B, and again, as you can see on the 3D viewport, the red color is starting to showing up on the lip. So As you can see, we're on the right track, and this way it is much easier to paint so small areas of character, so we can see what we are doing in 3D viewport, and we are painting on the 2D plane in UV space. So press B to bake this. As you can see, when I'm hovering over the 3D viewport, the Mari is masking system is active, and when I'm in the UV space, masking system is turned off. Okay, so now I can just add color to upper part of the lip. So again, I'm just painting all those maps together. So now let's do the lip. Paint, 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 paint. And we need to be gentle with this, not to have smudged lip of this character, because it will be, and I can see I can use eraser to just erase part only the paint that is on the paint buffer, because eraser in Mari works only with the paint that is on the paint buffer. So once it's baked, you cannot use eraser anymore. So now export this channel flattened and press OK. And now bake, and back in Modo we can see that now mouth is a little bit visible, so we need to wait for preview to update. Okay, as you can see, we just getting little coloration of the skin, so it means that we should change something in layer order. So go for the skin material and expose. Go for the skin shader, and we need to change subsurface amount to 16%, and this way the coloration of subsurface will be much higher. So let's change subsurface to 80%, and now let's go back to 60, and now we need diffuse amount. We can lower this part and go for the perspective view. And go for the add light, and we need to put one light behind her head to be able to see if light is penetrating the ears, and we got nice subsurface scattering behind this. So we can set its radiance to 4, and still there's nothing here because we got epidermal diffuse amount, and now when Modo reads all the data from the bitmaps created in Mari, we get even more drastic effect. So change some parameters in just in the skin material. So as you can see, now we have a little bit of subsurface going on in this ear that is visible. Let's change gradient existent to 10. And now, as you can see, the air is lit by light from behind, and we can see the subsurface more clearly. Okay, so I think this is good, and let's create maps for it. So back in Marine, we can now create skin bump. So go to BRDF and choose color that will be diffuse, epidermal diffuse color. Okay, that will be brown, and specular color. So it will be, yes, and it will be epidermal subsurface color. Okay, and bump we can change to skin bump. And we can just adjust bump weight to accurate. And we can now select skin bump layer. And create one map. So select all patches, change color to something darker pink. Okay, press OK on this, and we can just change to brown, a little bit brownish, and go for the patches and fill with foreground color. Okay, and go to perspective view. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll go to orthographic view, and we can lower this color down. And that's it for this part of the tutorial. Join me next time where we'll be creating bump map for this.